Immersed in its unique historical background, Plovdiv is now challenged to create conditions that connect these layers of history to everyday life, to develop a new way of looking at the city's heritage and its potentials.
It's both a blessing to live in a city like that, where every stone has a memory, and it's a curse, because sometimes you're so immersed in history, in memories, in the older times, that you forget to live. You forget that there's the here and the now. And it's a big challenge how to co-inhabit the present day necessities in life with the necessity to preserve that astonishing, wonderful heritage.
Most of all, you have to see these places with the eye of somebody that have to take care. But many people, they didn't. For example, some of the tobacco warehouses were destroyed, and some other buildings as well.
The Tobacco City is an ensemble of warehouses that forms an iconic quarter in Plovdiv's historical center. They represent an important part of the city's heritage from its industrial age. Despite being under legal protection, on March 16th, one of the warehouses was demolished. And shortly after, 4 of them suffered a devastating fire which shook Plovdiv society and left an open wound in the fabric of the city.
We invited specialists from Germany, from Austria, from the Czech Republic, that have age-old tradition in protecting heritage like that. And they couldn't believe their eyes what they saw, especially in the Tobacco City, with these recurrent fires and the one building that was razed down on a Sunday when nobody's around, and it turned out that it was completely against the law, and it's a cultural monument. And it's been 1.5 years since then, and it sits in exactly the same way that it was on this day, the 8th of March, I think it was 2016. And it's fenced from the rest of the world. And because it's fenced, and it's a huge building, and the other 4 that were set to fire, they're also fenced. Businesses on the street that are paying thousands of dollars are now fenced from pedestrians. So it's becoming a bigger issue. It requires a lot of sometimes very innovative approaches. The problem is not many people are on that level of thinking. Of course, most local builders or construction entrepreneurs, they want to just build a wonderful new hotel that is 14 or 15 floors big and with a glass facade, and they want to build it right in the best part of town, which happens to be the Tobacco City, which is one of the most beautiful places in Plovdiv. So essentially, I think a city like that has many hidden opportunities, but also hidden battles that any new city that was built on just even fields with nothing underneath would never have to face. We have the amazing local pride. We do have it, but it's too deeply buried in the stones, and it doesn't connect the new and the old, and it doesn't realize, even though we've achieved some astonishing things like saving, you know that story, the Comsomol or the КОСМОС. It has two names. Cinema, the biggest cinema in Bulgaria. It was 900 seats. When I was a kid, I would go there. It's a building that is from the 60s. It's a typical communist era building, and this young group of Plovdivians, architects and others, young, they really not just revived it, but they protected it from destruction because the city wanted to raise it down. And these kids, really young kids, they stood up and they said, no, we need to protect it, we need to save it, it's a monument of culture. Culture is not just what was 1,000 years ago, but what was 50 years ago, and this is a very peculiar example of communist architecture that is unique for our city, and we should do something about it. And they won the battle. It still sits there, and inside, if you look inside, it's completely dilapidated, but it sits there, and now the mayor has said that he will invest money in the building, first to clean the dilapidation inside the central hall, and then to probably build new seats and turn it into a new, not necessarily cinema hall, but it could be an opera hall, it could be anything, a theater hall. I'm hoping that grassroots movements like that, like what Vessi did, like what these kids are doing in cinema, are going to change Plovdiv, and not the people from up above. And this is going to happen slowly and surely. It's fascinating stuff. It's fascinating stuff.